The exciting news is Jim has come out with a brand new book. I think it's just released recently. He can tell us about it. You can see it on your screen, Doing Life with Your Adult Children. Keep your mouth shut and the welcome mat out. And great line. I don't know who came up with that, Kathy or somebody, his wife. Jim, why don't you come on up?
Nice Mickey Mouse shirt, too.
Oh, yeah. I wore that because I'm interviewing
you. Said it wasn't slick, but maybe it's a Mickey Mouse operation.
Oh, yes, that is, right. Rats. Okay, so...
that was good.
Jim and I have known each other for many, 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 many years. You were the very first hymn, I believe, or
I was
first
actually
or second?
the second hymn.
That's what I thought,
I'm a little
the second
disappointed.
one.
I was in Des Moines, Iowa, and a couple of my friends who helped you start this were, letting me know how beautiful it was here and how bad it was in Des Moines. So there you go.
Yeah, well, fantastic. So,
second one.
So, longtime friends, and he is head of Homeward, and which is, well, tell them what Homeward is.
Well, Homeward's values are strong marriages, confident parents, empowered kids, and healthy leaders. And so our content, we're the largest provider of parenting seminars in the United States, and our content is all about that stuff.
That's great. I wish I had Jim Burns' voice. It sounds so wonderful. You sound like God.
I actually thought the gentleman reading scripture sounded like God. It's a little bit of a British.
Yeah, that's David Suchet, who plays in Agatha Christie mysteries.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
He's, I can never say the name. What's his name? Hercule Poirot. Yeah, the classic people
Somebody
over there.
Over there.
Yeah, fantastic. So, Jim, why did you write this book? I mean, a great book about adult children.
Well, it's your fault. Yours and Pam's fault. Because I was actually asked to speak by you and Pam here on, you said parenting your adult child, and I went, no, I need to go to that workshop. We're in desperate need with our 3 kids. And Pam actually said, no, you need to do it. So she spoke, talked about Holy Spirit. She prophetically said, you need to do this. And when I was speaking that first time, I was talking about the millennials. And I was talking about adults, young adults who were straying from faith. There's a lot of great things. Mary's going to talk about this in a minute. But there's a lot of great things about them. But they're also straying from faith. They're violating some values. And I went through this, and the people groaned. I mean, literally, it was here at him. And the groan, I mean, people might groan silently when I speak, but this time they groaned out loud. And then I realized, wait, we were connecting to something. And more we found this change of trying to parent an adult child, in quotes sometimes. I mean, our kids, I remember when they were 18, they said, we're an adult. Treat us like an adult. And I'm thinking, well, I'm still paying for your cell phone, we're paying for some gas, you're living in our house. And over that process, it became a process of me investigating. And I changed it from parenting your adult child, because I think we're fired as parents day to day, to doing life with your adult child. And I just learned we needed to keep our mouth shut and the welcome mat out, and it works.
And you realize that the challenge begins just about when they're going to college, because you think, because you're helping to pay for whatever it is, $25,000, $50,000 a year, you think you have some input. But they tell you quite clearly, you have no input, right?
Well, and really our job is to hand them the passport toward adulthood. Really what we want them to do is become responsible adults. So it's a process. I said in my session yesterday, it's kind of a weaning process. That's not easy for the weenie or the wiener, but I said it. I thought that was a lot funnier than what they just
Well, that was, yeah, that's a historic
anyway,
moment.
It is a weaning process, and so it is. I think, Kathy and I, we got married 1 week after college graduation. We've been married 44 years. And in that, we became instant adults. But there's a man named Jeffrey Arnett who has studied emerging adulthood. And when I was doing my PhD, I went childhood, teens, adolescence, adulthood, and then elderly. But today we have this thing called emerging adulthood, and a lot of our kids, if we have kids in that age group, we're trying to figure that out. And that's why we need to be listening to what Mary's going to say, because we've got to become students of this culture, because frankly they're doing it in a different way. Doesn't mean it's all wrong, but they're doing it in a different way. I say that these people are meandering toward responsibility, meandering toward marriage, because it's going later. With that process, we parents, We've never been in this situation. We devoted our life for 2 decades to our kids. We were sort of in control, and now we're not.
And you had some focus groups on this book. And what did you discover from the focus group?
Well, in the focus groups, these people, we did 7 of them quite right back to back, and it was all with all types of different groups, ethnic groups, age with kids who had younger kids where they had their own grandchildren. But what happened was the people cried. I mean, there was a lot of pain, and I raised my kid to be a Christian, and now they're not walking this way, or they have a very different set of values than we have, and even biblical values, and we're not sure what to do. At the same time, what I kept hearing was a lot of parents were kind of helping their kids become entitled by enabling them toward dependency on them. And I understand that. I mean, you devote all this time to your kids, and all of a sudden you're not needed. And so that's a tough one. And then we had to deal with I heard a lot of people saying the boomerang parents, the kids, or boomerang kids, I mean, they'd come, they'd gone away to college or whatever, and then they're back. This happens a lot in this state because they'll maybe go out of the state and then they're coming back. They can't afford housing, they can't afford a lot of stuff, so they're back home. But now it's the same family, but it has some different values and some different rules going on, and we have to negotiate that.
I love the subtitle. I don't know if we can put the slide back up, but the subtitle to your book is Doing Life with Your Adult Children, and then it says, keep your mouth shut and the welcome mat out. So what does that mean?
Well, I often say to people, unsolicited advice is usually taken as criticism with kids, and especially with adult kids. And so what I've had to learn to do is even though I think I'm right, I've just had to keep my mouth shut. And so there's a scar on my tongue. I could show it to you, Dan, but I don't think we'll go in front of these people. But there's this scar on my tongue because I know the answer. I mean, I had a situation with my daughter, Christy, who knows and loves you and Pam, and she's been here so many times, and she and her husband were having a discussion in our home, because they were living in our home with our 2 grandkids in transition to go to Texas. And they were having a discussion on the best way to get all their stuff to Texas. And I said, hey, I have the answer, you guys. And they were in this kind of heated discussion, and she goes, not now, Dad. And I'm going, wait, people pay me for advice. Okay?
And you write books, on advice.
So then about 2 days later, she said, hey, what were you going to do? They'd already made their decision, put the money down, the whole bit. And I said, well, here's what I would have done. She goes, Dad, why didn't you tell me? That would have saved us some money. So I think it's like the movie The Field of Dreams. If you build that baseball diamond, they'll come. So if you're quiet, they'll come. And then you change the relationship from more control, if you would, to more of a mentor with the kids, and they will do that if you're quiet. But nobody wants advice all the time.
So what are, would you say, 1 or 2 big challenges for parents of adult children?
Yeah. Well, there's tons, but I would say one is financial. 79%, and maybe more in this state, frankly, but 79% of parents are helping their adult children in one way or another financially, and our job is what's our final goal? To become responsible adults, but it's also to become responsible with finances. And so there has to be a plan, there has to be an exit strategy, or bitterness, gets in the way of a good relationship. And money's a thing that gets in the way with adult children, and we have to be able to be careful about that, or there's going to become a whole bunch of resentment. The other thing I would say, and I'll speak to this because and I'm sure Mary will kind of talk about this a little bit too, but in terms of violating values, the people that I listen to and the people that talk to me even after my seminar yesterday on this, their kids are addicted to drugs, or they were shocked. Their kids went to Hawaii Baptist Academy, and it's a great school, and I love that school, but now they're not going to church, and they're not walking with God, or they have a different view on certain issues, or what I call the cringe factor. These were kids who at age 11 saw pornography. It's kind of the death of innocence today. And so these are kids who were raised on pornography. Some of them, their first sex education wasn't from mom or dad, I'll tell you that much. It was from porn. And that's, we have to be able to teach them it's not that, it's this, and the beautiful, sexuality. So as parents, we have to learn to, not be one-topic parents. Because a lot of times if you have a kid who's, going off the deep end, then, we become the one-topic parent. And if I said to somebody yesterday, do they know what you believe? Do they know how you feel? Okay, then, take them to Ala Moana and go shopping and spend some time with them and talk about whatever they're interested in, not just this one detail. I think that's hard. The other part of the cringe factor would be things like, cohabitation, gender identity issues. I mean, there's just a lot of disagreement on that. And as parents, this is a new generation we're raising. This is why we must learn and be students of the culture of our kids, of those of us who have adult kids. But you who don't have adult kids, you're right behind us. And it's important to understand that the generation of kids coming up, what we would call Gen Z, I mean, they have different thoughts and different values than you were raised on. For example, Gen Z, if you're talking about spirituality, twice as many Gen Z kids are atheists, twice as many as the millennials. So, the world is changing, and we've got to figure out how to do this, and this is why we've got to put some energy into that. At the same time, there's great things. I mean, in terms of doing life with your adult children, we've got James and Charlotte. That's my grandkids. My daughter Heidi, who's here, says she used to be the favorite child because she's the youngest. All youngest think they're the favorite child. Is that an amen to any of you? Yeah, I did. I was the youngest. But
I was too. We're God's favorite.
that's why I like you so much. Yeah, you're one of those. But anyway, but now that she says the favored children are the grandkids, and I'll just admit it in front of a couple thousand people. She's right. I mean, it's great. Our legacy, Kathy's my legacy, may be strongest with our grandkids.
I should mention that Jim has mentioned Mary. Mary is going to be speaking later this morning. This is kind of our family day in which she is going to talk about the millennials, X, Y, Z, AA, BB batteries. And so that's what we're referring to. This is going to be a very fascinating morning as we talk about this. So, I just find Jim and Kathy, they're just dripping and reeking with wisdom. They have really thought through so many different family issues. And if you have not been to one of Jim's seminars, I highly encourage you to do it. We know from the evaluations, people always get a lot out of it. And this just came out when?
It actually is coming out Tuesday.
Oh,
the
wow.
HIM conference. I don't even know how you got books here, but I hear rumor there's books and that I'm signing later. I don't think Homeward has books, so I don't know how you got books before me.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened on that. It was because of your Mickey Mouse shirt or something.
Yeah, because I'm the youngest child and I'm God's favorite, so we bypass Homeward. But anyway, I just wanted you to briefly get to know Jim a bit more, hear about this phenomenal book, and please buy one. I think you're signing books right after this general session with Mary, and so that's fantastic. So praise God. Please share your gratitude to Jim Burns.